Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson, and welcome back. And before we get into our phenomenal podcast today, I want to say to all of our viewers, thank you, because you have made us such a great year last year. You know, because of you, we are now in over 100 countries. Because of you, we have over 2,000 views a day. Thank you for that. It means so much. Continue to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Have any questions, you know, I will answer those. So reach out, let's communicate, but keep sharing about doing business in Bentonville and tell your friends. Okay, we're going to get straight away into my guest today. I'm so excited today for you to welcome a friend of mine, a new friend of mine, actually, Roger Thomas. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be here.
Wow. I am so glad we met.
Well, if we hadn't been at your doing business in Bentonville event, we would have met. You
know, it's a small world, isn't it? Right. At times, you know, it really is. Yeah. And you're going to understand how we know each other here in just a moment, because we're going to talk about it. But Roger, you know, one of the things that I was so impressed with you about is your knowledge around what we're going to talk about in your company. And you've taught me already a lot. And then the future of that, we're going to get into that. But also, you took me down memory road a bit with Walmart. And I will tell you, I love the history of Walmart. And this is what we're going to do, everyone. And I'll let Roger tell the story. But without his story that he's going to tell, Walmart would not be Walmart today. Yes, I'm saying it.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big.
It would not be. It would not be Walmart. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so let me say it just a bit more. Sam's vision in Walmart was so broad. You know, he never really talked about how big he wanted to be, but he talked about wanting to be a great company, Roger. You know that. And one of the things he did early on, he hired this guy named David Glass. David had a food background. When he came to Walmart, I always said that, and there's a lot of stories, David and I having conversations, but I always said he was probably the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
You know, when we'd have a talk. So we're going to go back a bit of history for you that you probably don't know about Walmart. So Roger's going to tell the story about his family company called Food for Less.
Yeah, and you know the thing is that it's my wife's family company,
right?
But I've been married to my wife's family for 40 years.
That's why I call it yours.
This year.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Talk about Food for Less and ties it all together.
Yeah.
To the Walmart.
Well, you know, the thing is the Phillips family, who my mother-in-law, Carolyn Phillips, was her maiden name. Anyway, they had Phillips grocery stores and they had Phillips food centers throughout Northwest Arkansas, even over, I think, to Berryville. I mean, you know, they were running, and we're talking about in the 50s, the 60s, you know, and they had their grocery stores.
Family-run stores.
And the thing that, and again, I didn't even know this until I married into the family and at the ripe old age of 21 years old. So and I know that, I don't know anything, but the thing is that 21 back then was a little older than 21 is today. And that's just natural evolution of aging. But anyway, when I married into the family, by that time, the Phillips family already owned the franchise rights to Food for Less in, I believe, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. I believe were the three states that they had. And I say that because Food for Less is still alive and well in different states. I mean, you know, they have. I don't, and they may even be alive and well a few locations. I haven't seen them around us, but anyway. But Harlan Phillips, who is my wife's great uncle, and Sam Walton were buddies. I mean, we're talking way back, buddies in the 60s and 70s. And I think you knew Harlan. And you knew his son, John.
Right.
And they, again, based on the information that I had as a young guy and still to hear the stories today, pretty much Harlan and John ran Food for Less. And again, all the family members, like there were 4 brothers. There was Harlan, there was Kenneth Phillips, there was Doyle Phillips, who was my wife's grandpa. And then there was another one that ended up moving out of the business, moved up to Kansas or something. Yeah, that's how it goes, But then from there, you have all their kids. You have all their grandkids. I mean, this was a truly family-ran enterprise. And what they did from such meager means, there's always I usually think there's always a combination of reasons why things work. Usually there's not just one reason why something worked. There's usually a combination of reasons. Well, the Phillips family was 100% in. I mean, they lived, breathed, and eat this enterprise, this Food for Less, their franchises. But then the relationship with Harlan and Sam, where the conversation occurred sometime, from Sam to Harlan, hey, Harlan, what, we got a merchandise store. What if we just put your Food for Less stores beside it? And they did that.
That's right.
They did it. And so the initial, again, the information that I know of, and what is just public knowledge to everybody, is the folks that are probably 50, maybe 45 to 50 years old or older, they remember in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, where there was a Walmart merchandising store, there would be a Food for Less store beside it, and they were separate. There was space between their buildings.
That's correct.
But they were right there. So what a great idea. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, so I got married into the family in '86, and I think that's that might have been another reason that Sherry liked me, because I had no idea. You know what I mean? I had no idea about this situation. I didn't know that they were involved in 33. And hey, by the way, Food for Less was one of the first warehouse grocery stores. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, this was I think there was a mega market back in the 80s that there was a warehouse grocery. It was the first time that anyone had even thought about bagging their own groceries, and doing that sort of thing. But I say that because if I recall, I shouldn't have said that about Food for Less, because Harlan Phillips, who was, I mean, in our family, Harlan he's our guy. I mean, he's at the top. And he the one thing that he loved to do, as brilliant as he was and as ethical and honorable as he was, he loved to bag groceries. Okay, do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that or not, Andy.
Oh yeah, I lived in Bentonville at the time, and we had Walmart, and we went over to Food for Less.
Well, you'd have this very well-to-do, elderly, handsome gentleman at the end of the cash register bagging groceries, and that's what he liked to do. But of course, he and John, from what I know, ran the place. But Harlan bagged a lot of groceries. Yeah. But anyway, so when that was '86 when I married into the family, and I believe, Andy, that '88. It was only a couple of years later, I believe, when the Supercenter came into existence, and we always, when Sherry and I travel. And we get on, we land somewhere. Where are you from? We're from Bentonville. Oh, Walmart. That sort of thing. Hey, hold on, time out. Yeah. Hey, before you say anything, we always remind them about, with Walmart. Hey, chances are, whoever your favorite nonprofit is, Walmart probably is at the top of the giving list. So before we start, anyway, this happens, when they run out mom and pop organizations and that sort of thing. I go, well, we're living proof that that's not the case, because as I was learning about the family and the business and what was going on at such a young age, the only thing that I heard from the Phillipses is how ethical and great the Walton family was to do business with. Yeah. I mean, that's all I know. So that leads us to always say, hey, if it ain't at Walmart, we don't need it. But the thing is that with Food for Less, the way that they ran the company, and again, I think a little over 30 stores, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
We were living in Memphis at the time. Sherry and I were. And so they were having a big Food for Less picnic in Jacksonville, Arkansas. So we drive to Jacksonville because this is like in the summer of '86, man. I was going to meet everybody, and I did meet everybody. But but that type, to be that large of a company, to have company picnics, in a park in Jacksonville, center to what it's all happening. It was always the most, for me, coming into this culture, and now it's all I am. I mean, it is me, I mean, it's what my businesses have done. But anyway, for that, what was very assuring, was very trusting, very ethical, and everything that I ever saw was 100% on top of the table.
Right. Right. One of the things, first of all, is any great relationship, it starts with trust.
Yeah.
And you could tell, and at the time, I was this young regional vice president at Walmart in '86, and now I'm beginning to hear Sam talk about his strategy, his vision. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, David Glass showed up. And David was my food was background. So we began to talk internally about the future. And I remember clearly when Sam talked about Food for Less. And he said, Food for Less would be a great laboratory for us to learn food. And then the conversation shifted over time and talked about there's a limited growth for discount stores selling general merchandise. It's an unlimited growth if we add food.
Right.
And so we began to have conversations inside the organization about the future of food being added. And I remember clearly, Sam said in a meeting, Mr. Sam said, now look, if we do this thing with Food for Less, he said, we're going to do it right. We're going to pay them for what it's worth. We're going not to hurt them. We're going to help them. Right. And he was very adamant about telling all of us officers sitting in the room, we'd go out and fight competition, but he was real clear that Food for Less was not a competitor. They were going to be a partner.
Right.
And that's what happened.
It's what happened.
Exactly what happened. Walmart, Food for Less joined, like you said, around 30 stores, and it became, for Walmart, a way to learn food.
Yeah. And they were learning from the best.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly. And Sam said that.
Right. Yeah.
Sam said that
because this is a family again who had already been in the business for 30 years. I mean, they had seen it all come up from the supermarket. Again, I'm in Bearable. I mean, which for your listeners, Bearable is a very small rural community. But they had a grocery store there. Yeah. And then they had a grocery store. Of course, I'm pretty sure that Rogers, Arkansas, was one of the anchor Phillips grocery stores.
It was,
yeah. And then of course the Food for Less opportunity came, and then that happened.
Any great idea, any great vision begins. It's successful begins with just multiple or more than two, or at least two entities coming together around a shared vision, around trust, and let's work together and learn together. And I remember clearly when that transition took place, that we had every Friday at the officer meeting where we talked sales, there was a representative from Food for Less sitting in the room, sharing the numbers, sharing ideas, and listening to us talk about the general merchant side and the culture of Walmart and how we work together, how we travel to the stores and listen to the customers.
Yeah.
Food for Less did that really well.
Yeah.
as you said. And so that integration worked.
Yeah.
100%. And now, as you know, as a viewer and a listener doing listening to DBB, look at what happened. Roger, I want you to say this for someone that at the time that I got to just listen in and to this partnership. I want to tell you, thank you. I want to say to you, thank you for the family for making this happen on the family side, because it wouldn't have worked if it didn't happen on both sides.
Right.
And it happened on both sides. And as I mentioned, it's a lot of trust there. And you could tell it now. If you look at what's happening in Walmart, it's really similar to when we did the Hypermart experiment in Texas.
Yeah.
And we learned the big box. The big box was too large. And we learned from it, though. It was another experiment. Or into Dot's Drugs, or Helen's Crafts, all these experiments that Walmart did because of Sam's vision. Many of them worked, some of them didn't work.
Yeah.
This one worked. The food worked.
Yeah.
And so what a great beginning.
Yeah. And the food, and the thing that is just so rewarding for everyone is the food works so well.
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear of other competitive food sources, okay, H-E-B, absolutely terrific. Kroger, absolutely terrific. When you talk about 3,600 Walmart Supercenters and the size of their groceries and the grocery section of the, I would challenge anybody to take that on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, to think how great Walmart Food Services performs in such a competitive market with those other world-class grocers.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone better than. I mean, there might be some as good as, but there's nobody better.
That's the first topic I wanted to talk to you about, because I found it interesting. Thank you for sharing that. It means a lot. Now, you have a company called Peak Tech Labs.
Correct.
And so you're the CEO, senior advisor, broker of that company, correct?
Correct.
What is Peak Tech Labs?
Well, what I'd like to do, if it's okay, is just step back before Peak Tech Labs, because our story from a tech provider perspective in Northwest Arkansas, it is a Walmart story as well.
Oh, share that, please.
You know. So I got Sherry, who's from Bentonville, to move to Memphis with me all through our 20s for 10 years. And I always say I had to get her out before I could make more money than her. I had to get her out of Memphis. She was in her 20s in commercial real estate. But again, she came from this Phillips family that was built on entrepreneurs and business. Right. I mean, these kids have been working in the grocery store since they were 14. Yeah. I mean, they were when they were 18, 21, they're veterans, you know. But anyway, but we moved back to Memphis in 1995 with a tech firm, with our own tech firm, because my background is it's funny because it's young people don't understand there was actually tech firms before the internet. Okay, there really was. You know, we did tech, you know, before there was even internet. But anyway, that was our situation. But we moved to Northwest Arkansas. We were starting our family. And we were 30, and we moved from Memphis and inside the city limits to Bella Vista, Hiawassee, okay, to a house we had never seen before that we were just going to rent. And we sold our house in Memphis in like a day, and here we are. But anyway, we were very fortunate. And again, it still comes back to Sherry's family. I had in small business what not many people get in small business. I had entrepreneurs behind me that knew how to help me and coach me on how to make our own tech firm work. Okay, I had their contacts that they had here in Northwest Arkansas. So I'm moving from Memphis here, cold turkey, with a 6-week-old baby, and a brand new business, and I have the people that we just talked about. I have them whispering in my ear, sending paging me, maybe beeping me, telling me, hey, you need to go talk to these people. You need to go talk to these people, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So we started building the business, and the Walmart Supplier was a big part of that, of building that business. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. When people say, hey, what do you do? I know you've heard this before too. We all hear this in Northwest Arkansas. What do you do in Northwest Arkansas? Do you work for Walmart? We all work for Walmart. Okay. Either you work for Walmart directly, mm-hmm. you're a supplier of Walmart, mm-hmm. or you are a supplier of the suppliers of Walmart. Right. That's where I fit in. That's where our tech firm fits in. Right. So, I wasn't sure when we moved from Memphis up here at the time, how long we would stay, because I was a city guy. And as you know, hey, 30 years ago here versus today, it's another planet. I mean, there's no comparison. Right. But anyway, but that is when again I just keep going back to Sherry's family. That is when they're going, hey, you don't need to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. This is where you need to be for business, and we're business to business. Mm-hmm. So we started that, and again we were soliciting to Walmart suppliers here in Northwest Arkansas. 97, two things happened. Suppliers started converging on Northwest Arkansas, mm-hmm. and the internet happened. Mm-hmm. And when the internet happened, it was full tilt. I went from myself and my wife to hiring 2 more to hiring 4 more. I always say the technology that we're involved in is boring until it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. When it doesn't work, our technology becomes very exciting and very mission critical. For example, telecommunications. These days, it's hardly anybody has a phone on their desk anymore. They're just talking to their computers. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. The Wi-Fi that happens. The cloud security that happens. All of the infrastructure IT things that happened. And another supplier story was the 2008 Great Recession. Mm-hmm. So here we are, a small mom and pop tech firm in 2008, and the bottom drops out of the economy. Mm-hmm. And except for Walmart, Walmart always excels. But anyway, what happened was this is a great technology story, mm-hmm. And that is video conferencing happened. Mm-hmm. For the viewers out there, especially the young viewers, it's hard to imagine that a business would pay $10,000 to $50,000 in 2008 to have video conferencing inside their office. Mm-hmm. But that's what it costs. These it's free now. It's pretty much free. Yeah. But back then it was a big ticket item, and the reason that was important is because with all the suppliers who would fly into Northwest Arkansas for their meetings with Walmart, mm-hmm. bottom dropped out of the economy. Nobody was flying. There was some major mm-hmm. Financial issues going on in the country, mm-hmm. But that saved us. Right. There's different technologies that happened. The internet happens, we boom. Mm-hmm. Video conferencing happens, just overnight. When the recession happened, no one traveled. Mm-hmm. They had their meetings, online, and that used to cost money. Yeah. So anyway, getting to Peak Tech Labs from 2017 to 2021. It was a great life experience. Mm-hmm. It was a great time. So anyway, 2021, really 2020, 2021, my wife, Sherry and I RV'd across the country. Mm-hmm. For the first outing was 9 months. Yeah. We were gone, mm-hmm. and that was in COVID, of course, and everybody, and I think that's the reason we never got COVID is because we were never in a hotel. We were always in our camper, through those very, trying times. Mm-hmm. But then we started, technology changed. It's just amazing. Yeah. And that's why I love it so much. Because our inner office technology, whereas we used to sell phone systems and an actual phone on a desk, are they still available? Sure. But you use the computer for your phone. Right. You use the cell phone for your phone. Right. Things have changed. But now we have Peak Tech Labs. And I really got into, after telecom, what I started doing is while we were traveling and no one was meeting face to face, back then everybody was Zooming or doing Teams. I started selling commodity energy down in Texas and Dallas and Houston, and Sherry and I would go there and camp. I mean, we would just stay in an RV park,
Right.
and we started selling that, just to really to do something, just to keep going.
Yeah.
We were in our mid 50s and way too young to retire, anyway, so we continue to do that. But one thing led to another, and then I started having some contacts and really some peers in the industry calling me up, going, "Hey, man, are you finished? You finished camping yet? When's the end time for this?" And I'm going, it's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then the thing that just put an exclamation point on Peak Tech Labs was my oldest son, David, who has been a tech guy from age 4 or 5. He started showing interest, in the business, and he's a natural for it. And so I said, "Hey, Dave, why don't you start working with me part time?" And and again, we were just casually working. The days and the season of 100 employee company for us is over. I mean, it's not going to happen. We're going to use other resources to do our work. We love to design and architect office technical layouts and needs. But as far as network engineers, we hire a lot of our network engineers third party to do the work for us. But David came in. And I always say he's having some great years, okay? but what he did is he pushed Sherry and me back into the business full time, because his production and again the need and the want, the region we're in. Yeah. I mean, it's vast and it's it's plentiful, Anyway, we have embraced it, and we are in some of the same technologies, but man, we are in a lot of different technologies, as we know with AI, retail technology, everything, AI. I mean, that's one of the or what's called organizational AI, which means private AI, versus you and me just going, okay, how can I write this email better? Just hitting Chat GPT and just saying, do it. It's public information. Well, that's fine. But for companies, large companies, medium-sized companies, really even smaller companies that have critical data like government information or education information, grades, diplomas, medical, gosh almighty, personal health records, information. Those companies need to have private AI or secure AI. When their employees enter that company's information to get better ideas from that AI technology, they don't need it to be broadcasted in the entire world.
And you focus in that space?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So you focus that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so that space is critical. You're right. And so if companies are in need of that, how do they find you? Where do they find you at? How does that work?
Great. Thank you. Well, Peak Tech Labs, Facebook, LinkedIn for sure. Yeah. But peaktechlabs.com. Okay. Peaktechlabs.com, you can get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm. And that's your specialty now?
Well, we organizational AI is definitely a specialty. Okay. And we anticipate, based on other wave technologies, the internet, video conferencing, voice over internet protocol. Yeah. I mean, these are all technologies that when they hit for vendors like us, we rode that wave for probably 2 to 4 years, But yeah, right now, organizational AI is happening. It's like less than a year old. Right. Having private AI is kind of a new thing. Yeah. But no, besides that, the other thing that we do, and again, there's so little crime in Northwest Arkansas. It's hard to sell cloud security systems for buildings in Northwest Arkansas. But that is happening all over. And that used to be the facilities director's responsibility. Yeah. That used to be the maintenance director's responsibility. Well, now cloud physical security is the IT department's responsibility. In 2021, wasn't the case. Okay, I mean, it changed that quick.
Yeah.
But now with the cameras, with the panic buttons, with the access control door, let them in, push the button, everything. Facial recognition, license plate recognition. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
How advanced that technology is. So besides organizational AI, that is the other technology that we spend most of our time on right now, because it's in a transition. Right. It's going from the old analog days to cloud days. It's going from the old, we're going to keep all of our videos on these servers inside of our office to it's all in the cloud.
Right.
Right. That's huge. But then besides that, the old what we call it's phone systems, but it's called UCaaS, Unified Communications as a Service, and that's that computer, that's your Teams, that's your Zoom, that's you having your phone extension on your cell phone, you having your office phone extension on your computer. Yeah, I mean that's bread and butter. Secondary internet connections are bread and butter. Those things are still items that every business has to have. Right. They have to have them.
Are you glad to be back?
I'm so tickled. I
can't tell. Yeah.
Well, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, 21, 22, 23, 24, Sherry and I were in Key West in an RV for 2 months in January, February. Yeah. These are the last 2 years are the first times that we've had 12 inches of snow on the ground where we're at. Yeah. It's all your fault, Andy.
No.
I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, we are now in a. We didn't know when that season would end of traveling. And then it's ended, because again, we're excited. Yeah. Hey, if others had the opportunities that we have here, and I'm just going to put it on the region, on Northwest Arkansas, they'd be working too. Yeah.
Right.
I mean.
Okay, so this is a great story from Food for Less and through your transition and now where you are doing. So as we wrap up with our audience and if you step back for a moment, and you think about your company today, and someone's interested in all your technology that you described, if you had to say, my company, Peak Labs, this is our vision, our focus, our core values, what would that be?
Well, the first thing is there's a few things. I love the core values. I'm going to talk about the core values before the vision. Okay. But the thing is that do your business with honor. Do it with integrity. Do it with honesty. The thing that we hope is that's the case, that it always happens. And we also hope that whoever gets the best end of this deal is them. I never want to get the best end of any deal. We're okay. We want whoever we're dealing with to get the best end of whatever transaction we're doing. So that is the core value, and we do that to the point where not everybody registers with the Better Business Bureau or Dun & Bradstreet. We do.
I've seen that. I've seen that on your website that you highly you broadcast that. And that's why I asked you the question. Because when I was reading about your company, I seen that you displayed that. So that told me that you're a company of integrity.
Well, I appreciate it. The thing that we would just want the other party to know is we're an open book. Yeah. I mean, we're transparent, and don't take our word for it. Yeah. Let's take some nationally known third party business word for it. But as far as the vision goes, AI is going to be mainstream. Yeah. The thing that I also think the vision of AI is that every single business person is going to have their own assistant with AI. They're going to have their own agent with AI. Yeah. They could do that right now. Yeah. Okay. So when people say, gosh, if I could just duplicate myself, how many times have we said before 2025 that? I mean, ever. I mean, if one could just duplicate themselves, well, now with AI and task, especially in our business world that we have here, one can duplicate themselves with AI and have this agent working for them. So I think that my hope is that America capitalizes on that. Not that I'm anti-international, but the thing is, I just hope that we capitalize on it before anybody else.
Right.
You know, I want our mission is to make the companies that we do business with the top competitive company because of technology. I mean, for sure, if there is a form of technology that can help a business compete and win and be successful, that's what we're in it for. If we go into a business and we see that we can't, we will walk away. I mean, we're going to walk away because we want a reference. I mean, we want a reference point. We want someone talking about, oh my gosh, this changed us for the better. Anyway.
Great. Roger, this has been an extremely exciting conversation with you. I appreciate you sharing history with us personally and how in your family and how it helped Walmart become what Walmart did and for the food side and collected together. Thank you for that. Extremely compelling, though, is the history of your company, your family, you and your wife's companies that you've put together, and now where you are today in this space. I think it's magnificent. And as I listen to you and your enthusiasm and your passion that comes out, it's because you live in America you can do this. And it's that you can be the entrepreneur. You can have the idea. You can then be that entrepreneur to where you are today. But it helps. You're helping people. You're helping organizations, and that's powerful. Well, powerful story.
Well, I appreciate. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. You are too.
Right.
And I want to thank you for your service for Walmart.
Thank you.
The years that you served Walmart. Wow. I mean, I know you're. I know that. It's once in a lifetime. Well, actually, it's once in 100 lifetimes.
Yeah, it is.
It's that you have that opportunity.
And I wake up every day grateful.
Amen.
And because of it. Roger Thomas, what a great conversation. Thank you. I'm glad we met. I'm glad you're sitting across from me today. I'm glad you what you did. I want you to come back sometime, will you?
Would love to.
Okay. Let's talk more about your next thing, wherever that is.
That sounds great. Awesome.
Bring your wife next time.
Oh, that would be, at one time people would say, man, she needs to run for mayor. I'm going, yeah, she does.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, you tell her I said that she's invited, okay?
I will.
Okay. Thank you. What a great day, right? What a great story. What a great concept. And Roger, my best for you and your family and for the future.
You too.
All of you, thank you very much. Again, as I said at the top of the show, thank you for what you're doing and your viewership and your listening. And please continue to share on all your social media platforms about doing business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson. Thank you very much. Goodbye.